Welcome. This is a three-part series on relationship health in the modern world. My name is Dr. Kathy Betwan. I'm a clinical psychologist, an experienced teacher and a parent, and this is part one on feeling disorientated. Hi, welcome. It's November 2024, and I don't know about you, but I've certainly been feeling quite disorientated in the last months in the face of a growing number of really concerning issues around the globe that leave us wondering, what does the future hold? What will the next few years be like? What should we focus on? Is there anything that we could do to make a difference? I decided, therefore, this weekend to spend some time just sitting down trying to think, well, what does an understanding of relationship health bring to making sense of what's happening on a global scale? I realized with that exercise that I certainly grew up with some fairly basic ideas that if we work hard and work together, we can make a better world for everyone in our homes, families, community, and across the planet. And there was an understanding that we have to look after and share our resources so that we collectively have enough for our needs, but not for our greed. So how do we do that? We focus on some core values. These for me came from the experience of being raised around Quakers. They included respecting and caring for each other and ourselves, living simply and not wasting resources, working for peace. That means learning to talk through our difficulties in order to find solutions rather than killing each other, valuing truth and integrity, believing in community, working for justice and equality, and prioritizing stewardship. That means looking after the resources that are entrusted to us. There was a key value that the primary motive of being in business is not for profit, but for the ability to address needs and look after each other and our planet so that the planet can sustain us all now and for the longer run. So all of that, I think, is fairly basic. I don't think many people would actively disagree with those ideas. So I guess the question is, what's the disorientation? For me, it's been around how to make sense of the rise of a full range of very powerful leaders across the world who are being elected or promoted to positions of power in international life, who seem to see the world through a very different set of priorities. So, for example, there's a kind of hyper value of consumerism and financial gain and personal profit, disregard for the truth or for the rule of law, there's a disregard for the value of human life or for justice and equality or for the care of the environment. Indeed, there's disregard for core respect for others and for self. And as I look around, this is a deeply shocking rise in the extent of abusive and blaming behavior that we see and read about online on a daily basis. And a lot of black and white split thinking, which is there are people like me and there are people that are different from me. There is us and them. And a real focus on emphasizing differences between groups, whether it's between countries or gender or race. Sometimes this focus on difference seems to be actively being manipulated by people whose actual motivation is not really care for communities, but around promoting themselves to positions of more power. So in that sort of difficult situation, I was thinking, well, how can we use a relationship health understanding? And this way of thinking may prove interesting and useful for you. In part two, I'll introduce you to a simple 5-stage model for thinking about how the skills for relationship health emerge developmentally, both in individuals but also in communities. I think this gives us some real practical ideas for understanding what's happening, as well as thinking about the steps that we can individually take to make a difference, which will be explored in part 3.